Well, hello and welcome to Stop Let's Team Up My Legion Adventure episode 32, and we will be covering Adventure Comics 315 on my journey of the reread. So let's get started. I'm excited. It was a fun comic. So, Adventure Comics 315, cover date December 1963, cover credits Kurt Swan, George Klein, and Ira Shop. It's a wonderful Adventure Comics cover, but it's the cover is showing off the second story, the Titanic Superboy, and it's just a great giant Superboy keeping a bridge up while Lana and some people in a Clark in a helicopter, It's weird. I don't remember. I don't think we ever owned this one as a kid. I have read this Legion story, or should I say Substitute Legion story, somewhere. It had to have been in a reprint somewhere. I have no idea where. Maybe one of the 100 pagers. But I remember reading. Maybe I read it in the Adventure Comic Digests. And in this volume, because I'm using the archives. I'm almost done with the second volume. But let's get on to the story. Okay, the first story is the Legion's Super Contest. That's okay, and that's the title for part 1, and part 2 is the winner of the Super Test. The credits are editor, plotter, Mort Weisinger, plotter, scripter, Edmund Hamilton, penciler, inker, John Forte, letterer is Joe Letteroos, splash page in part 2 only and unknown. Oh, he did the splash page and part 2 only, so the rest of it's unknown. Okay, that's cool. Roll call: Legion, Cosmic Boy, Lightning Lad, Chameleon Boy, Bouncing Boy, Saturn Girl, Brainiac 5, Superboy, and Sun Boy. Roll call for Substitute Legion: Polar Boy, Night Girl, Stone Boy, Fire Boy, Chlorophyll Kid. There's no real villain because it's about a test. There's some weird planets, but I'll talk about that after I read the amazing synopsis. In saving Earth from a band of space raiders, the Substitute Legion inadvertently reveals its existence to the Legion of Superheroes. When they explain that they exist not as competition, but as secret helpers, the members are invited to participate in a series of contests, the winner to be made a full Legionnaire. Polar Boy enters a volcano and uses his powers to safely thaw out a pair of frozen scientists. Night Girl vanquishes Sun Woman, the tyrant of Vanar. Chlorophyll Kid splits a mountain by accelerating the growth of plants within to create a needed water passage. And Fire Boy creates a permanent fire geyser on a rainy asteroid. Only Stone Boy fails in his task to subdue and capture a wild beast. But because only he refuses to try a second time for fear that the beast might hurt someone, the Legionnaires are impressed enough with his show of self-sacrifice to choose him as winner. Stone Boy is grateful for the honor, but decides to stay with his friends in the Substitutes. It's a real cute little Silver Age, the audience for this comic is like 12 years old, at oldest, maybe 10. But I really like it. It is a pretty classic story. That Stone Boy was offered membership and turned it down is mentioned time and time again until the 80s. And this came in 63. I mean, almost more than 20 years later, until Polar Boy is the first of the Substitutes to actually get Legion membership and is leader at some point, going into the 5 years later storyline. But let me go through this page by page, what I liked, didn't like. Pretty much liked all of it. The caption on the cover page for the splash for part 1, it shows 5 Legionnaires: Bouncing Boy, Sun Boy, Saturn Girl, Superboy, Lightning Lad. Behind the counter, Brainiac 5 reading out something, and then the 5 Substitute Legionnaires standing there. And it's got little featuring, and then the scroll with both teams' lineups. And here's the tease box. That's what I'm going to call this, the tease box, because it teases you what the story's about. More than once, when the Legion of Superheroes has been away from Earth and an emergency has arisen, its place has been taken by the secret Legion of Substitute Heroes. But now, at last, the secret comes out and the superheroes learn that for the first time of their substitutes. What is the reaction to this revelation? Jealousy or gratitude? The answer to that lies in the outcome of the Legion Super Contest. And Brainiac sitting there going, the Substitute Legion scored the highest will become a permanent member of the real Legion. And then we have 5 thought balloons. Polar Boys, I know I lost the contest. Chlorophyll Cleats, I haven't a chance. Night Girl, I hope I won. Fire Lad, if only I got the highest score. And Stone Boy, I'm sure Night Girl is the winner. All right, and then, okay, this is a great, oh my God. I don't know if the kitsch factor of this stuff is going to wear off. Are there going to come in ways where I like it, I don't like it? Because, I'm reading these one a week. But right now, it was a bit much. On page 2, top panel is, Sunboy says this, the universe monitor, which the grateful scientists of the world Thar gave us for our help, is terrific. It instantly warns of troubles on of any planet. And the screen shows Earth, Wind World, buildings with wind going by it. On the screen, Tree World, cities built on the top of trees. Ring World, it looks like inflatable ducky, water ring, and for something called Fire World. And Superboy's talking to a conference of law enforcement people from all over, and he's going to explain to them Method's new law enforcement on water worlds. Okay? And then there are these bad guys that come in ships and they need glass. So they steal all the glass from Metropolis with vacuums in the bottom of their ships while the Legion is away at this conference. And 5 substitute Legionnaires jump into action. And Superboy he sees it, and he sees it with his, X-ray vision. He confronts them, and they tell them who they are. They're brought before him. And it's on 4 and 5. You get to see the origin stories again. I like how when they do these one-panel origin stories whenever they bring a character back. I don't mind a little information if it's, it's necessary to remind me. I mean, I some of the stuff's etched in my brain. These panels. That's why when I read this, it goes, I've seen this panel, all 5 of these panels before. They are almost duplicate to, I think, their panels in their introduction story. But I'm enjoying it. It's a really good John Forte art, I think. So they recap their origin, and then the Legionnaires, give them, say, hey, we're going to let one of you, we're going to have a contest. You're going to be paired off. You're going to have mentors, basically. So they use this random roulette slot machine to pick it, space slot machine on page 6. Sunboy goes with Polar Boy. Superboy is teed up with Night Girl. Lightning Lad with Chlorophyll Kill, Bouncing Boy with Fire Lad, and Saturn Girl with Stone Boy. So they do their little task, Polar Boy, he flies into the heat of 2 frozen scientists. He thaws them out by, taking them somewhere hot and then keeping the heat at just the right level to defrost them without killing them with his cold powers. And then that's the end of the first part. A lot happens. I mean, it's 8 pages. It's a 16-page story. Each chapter is 8. So you've gotten through one of the tests. Now the rest is going to go a little quicker. So in part 2, the preview box, and in the testing of the substitute heroes, they must conquer impossible odds. For each of them has been deliberately assigned a task in which his or her power is of little use. Here is the conclusion of this cosmic competition with its dramatic climax, in which one substitute Legionnaire is finally revealed as the winner of the super tests. So it starts with Night Girl facing Sun Woman on the planet Vinar. And Sun Woman's costume is basically a one-piece bathing suit, 1940s style, with a big sun in the middle, and then she's got her hair up in an Esther. She's dressed like Esther Williams. I mean, I'm old, and no, I've never seen a whole Esther Williams movie. I just know her from clip shows. But she was a movie star in the 40s who did swimming. Instead of dancing, there was synchronized swimming. It's really weird. If you've never seen it, see it in Coen Brothers. Julius Caesar. Scarlett Johansson plays a kind of Esther Williams, except she's tough and from the Bronx. It's a great movie. See it. But she's dressed like that. She got 2 little antennas, and she she pulls power from the sun. And this planet is, one side is always facing the sun and one side is always dark. So Night Girl's powers only work if there is zero sunlight. So she fights Sun Woman. She's captured. She's thrown into a pit. But since she's in the dark, her powers activate and she digs away. And then she pulls a full Doctor Who where she starts a rebellion. And uses her powers, convinces people to set fires that blocks the sun. Global warming. Or nuclear winter. And then Night Girl defeats her. Chlorophyll kill. He goes to the top of this mountain where there's a tiny little plant. He realizes he plants some seeds, but he needs water, so he puts more plants in there, and he grows them for and it splits the mountain in half, and water comes pouring out. Next is Sun Boy, Flame Lad, and Bouncing Boy. Flame Lad is on a planet where it rains. They have no permanent fire. He can't set any of the trees on fire because they're wet. So he pokes holes in the ground until he strikes oil. Woohoo! And starts a permanent liquid fire. Okay. Then the next is Sun Boy, and he tries to lure this monster away, but he realizes if he doesn't do it the right way, someone's going to hurt, and he gives up. But since Saturn Girl senses why he did it, reading his mind without his permission, not good, Saturn Girl. Okay, agency. Okay, let's not have to call HR. But so Sun Boy gets offered a membership, and he turns it away. This is a cute little story. It is a classic. It is a kind of, if you want to say important, it's a touchstone comic. It's something that is remembered and referenced, over and over again, because of the history part. And it was fun. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I'm making fun of some of the dumb stuff, the world's in the thing, and I mean, Saturn Girl really keeps reading everybody's mind. That's kind of the how the mystery is solved. Way too much. But these, again, I have to, in context of when they were written, they were disposable. Someone's not going to see every issue. I mean, there are kids that did, but not like today where we can have copy upon copy. But I mean, I'll talk about that when I get to the end. I just got a new volume and I'm looking forward to reading it. But it was fun. I hope you liked it. I'm really digging the John Forte art. There's a lot of this Adventure Comics Legion run still to go. I probably, it will be years before I get to my sweet spot. I'm thinking, do I want to speed this up and do 2 or 3 issues at a time and just do a longer episode? So if y'all that listen and tweet back to me, Kirby, Jimbo, everybody, do me a favor. Let me know, and I'll put that up as like, do you want me to, go to do more than one issue to speed up? Would that be more interesting to do? I still try to keep it quick, just a couple minutes for each comic, and then do an overview. I mean, these things don't do arcs, so, it is what it is. So I'll put that out there and let me know. I got a good idea. I'll put out a poll. How's that? We'll do a poll. All right. We haven't done a poll in a while. So, that was great. Don't forget, day after tomorrow, I'm hoping to get it out on time, but it's a lot. We're going to cover Avengers 115, I think it is, which has the prologue to the Avengers Defenders War and the chapter 1 from the last issue of the Defenders we cover, which will have chapter 1 of the Avengers at War, and then we'll go issue by issue between the two titles until we're done. I'm really excited to do that. I think that one's going to have me really chatty, so I'm excited because I really do love that story. So that's it, folks. Little recommendations. On Audible, I downloaded the complete short stories, Hercule Poirot short stories by Agatha Christie. I had one of my bi-monthly credits, and it is read by the cast of ITV's Hercule Poirot series with David Suchet. It is absolutely wonderful. They're like 25 minutes each. I've been taking long walks for exercise and mental health, blah, blah, blah. and I find them very entertaining. I mix it in between Children of Dune, which is the one Dune. Do a lot of audiobooks and podcasts mix up. So Dune, and I've got a new one which I have not started, and I can't really remember the name is on Libby, the library thing. So I'm going to dive into that, but and I'm waiting on some Doctor Who stuff to come, and I'm excited. So there's a lot going on. But I did get really reasonably priced from cheap graphic novels. I got one of their I got New Warriors Volume 1. I got it really incredibly cheap, way cheaper than I could probably find it out, not on the interwebs. I have never read the New Warriors. I'm a huge fan of what Fabian Nietzsche's stuff I've read. I loved Kurt Busiek's Thunderbolts, and I really love Fabian's after it. I've not read his X-Men because it's an era of X-Men I've not read. Maybe I'll go back. If you all X-Men recommendations written by Fabian Nietzsche's, let me know. I'll cover them. If you like it or not and you want to come on and talk about it, fellow podcaster, anybody, let me know. That would be fun. I've had an offer to someone do Secret Six with me, and I think I'm going to do the Villains United miniseries because I love the Secret Six by Gail Simone. So that's coming up. But I really did. So a shout out to cheap graphic novels, and to Omar on, even though he didn't realize it, but me watching his videos, Omar from Near Mint Condition, thanks, because it made me kind of go and seek out a place where I could afford some of these great things that he's talking about. And I want more of these Omnis, and they're very expensive. So, I've got to look on eBay and stuff like that and see what deals I can get. I'm really looking at trying to get at Master of Kung Fu 2, 3, and 4 of Omnis, so I have a whole run of it. I don't think they're going to be printing it. There's some, it's a 70s comic, and some of the characters are not, it's kind of dated. I'll put it that way, politely. But I really do like the comic. I think there's still a lot of it to offer as entertainment, even with some of the, the dodgy racial stuff in it. So I'm kind of looking at that one. And I'd love to be able to get the Death and Return of Superman. Really like to have that. I'm about time I picked up Man of Steel Volume 2. Because I really did dig the late 80s Superman. It was one time I read it religiously, and I read it religiously for like a decade. So, and I do love a lot of the Silver Age stuff. I do love it when I read it. If anyone, come on, man, Superman Under a Red Sun. God, still the best Superman comic book I ever read. But I'm enjoying those. So there's a lot of stuff coming out. I did just finish reading Tom King's and Jorge Fornes, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Rorschach hardcover. It's the collection of the 12 issues. I'd gotten like the first 6 issues and then cut it from my list to save money. And it wasn't that it's with my discount at the Great Velocity Comics. I was able to get it and read it. It is thick and full of stuff, and I absolutely loved it. Every page. I really enjoyed it. I know people have issues with them doing sequels and prequels to Watchmen, and you're entitled to that. It's a fair opinion. I respect people that kind of like want to stick to just it was a perfect 12 issues and that's all it is. I do think it by itself is a masterful piece of work, but I've enjoyed some. I did not like the prequels. I really never could get engaged with the prequels. I may go back and read them at some point. But I just didn't, because some good people wrote them, people I respect and their work, but I've just never been interested in it. But I did like that. I like Doomsday Clock by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. I like Tom King's Flash Batman thing with 0 Hour, and it's all these overlapping crises. They really are bugging me because there's certain ones that I've absolutely loved. And this one is the art's Jorge Fornes art is perfect, stunning. I'm going to Google him and find something else he's drawn and read it, and then talk about it, because it's stunning. So, well, that was a lot of extra business. This is now almost a 20-minute episode, so I'm going to wrap it up. And I'll link all that stuff that I chatted about, cheapgraphicnovels.com, Near Mint Condition, Tom King's Rorschach, and yeah, that's it for this week. So, folks, just give me a favor. Be smart, be safe, please be kind. We could use some kindness in this world, and read some comments.